In the late summer of 1937, two commercial fishermen working the Mississippi River near Alton, Illinois, found that something had been destroying their bait traps in the night. Alton sits just north of St. Louis. It is a river town in the American Midwest, roughly 1,700 miles of winding river from the nearest ocean water. Whatever was tearing apart heavy fishing gear in the dark was not supposed to exist there. So the two men did what fishermen do. They reinforced the traps with wire, baited them with chicken scraps, and waited to catch whatever it was. The next morning, they pulled up a dead shark, not a catfish that looked like a shark, not a story that grew in the retelling. A 5-foot, 84-pound bull shark, an ocean animal lying in a trap in a river in Illinois, farther from the sea than most of us will travel in our lives. For decades, that catch was treated as a fluke, a freak, a once-in-a-century accident that everyone could safely forget. It was not a fluke. And the reason it was not a fluke is the whole point of this story. Today, we are going to follow one animal up one river, from the warm shallows of the Gulf Coast to a river town in the Midwest. And we are going to look at something that has been quietly true for almost 100 years. There is a shark in American freshwater. It is one of the most dangerous sharks on the planet. It swims into the same rivers and lakes where people fish and wade and let their kids splash on a hot afternoon. And almost nobody is talking about it. If this is the kind of thing that keeps your mind turning after dark, subscribe now. It takes 2 seconds. And tell me one thing in the comments. What is the name of the river closest to you? I want to see how far this reaches. Now, let us start where the story actually starts, which is not with the shark, but with a rule.
Every swimmer in America grows up with one rule about sharks, even if no one ever says it out loud. Sharks live in the ocean, salt water. That is the deal. You go to the beach, you accept a certain small risk, and then you drive home inland to the lake, the river, the pond, and you leave the sharks behind at the coast. The freshwater is safe. The freshwater has always been safe. That rule is built on a real piece of biology. It is true for almost every shark on Earth. A shark's body is tuned to salt water so precisely that fresh water will kill it. Put a typical shark in a river and the water floods into its body. Its cells swell, its blood chemistry collapses. Most sharks cannot survive in fresh water for more than a short time. The rule for almost every shark holds. The bull shark never read the rule. The bull shark is one of a tiny handful of sharks on the planet with a body that can do something the others cannot. Its kidneys, its liver, and a special gland near its tail work together to constantly adjust the salt in its blood, bleeding off salt in the ocean and holding on to it in fresh water. Scientists call this being euryalline, which simply means an animal that can live across the whole range from full salt to pure fresh. In practice, it means the one barrier that keeps every other shark out at sea does not apply to this one. The bull shark can swim out of the Gulf of Mexico into the mouth of a river and just keep going. And it does. That is the part that undoes people.
Understand who this animal is before we follow it inland. The bull shark is not a shy, misunderstood filter feeder. It is thick and heavy and blunt, named for its stocky build and its habit of headbutting prey before it bites. Adult females reach 8 feet and can pass 250 pounds. It has poor eyesight and hunts by feel and smell in exactly the kind of murky, stirred up, low visibility water that rivers and warm lakes are full of. And it is widely considered one of the 3 sharks most dangerous to humans, alongside the great white and the tiger shark. Some researchers believe the string of attacks in a New Jersey creek in 1916, the ones that helped inspire the novel and film that taught the whole world to fear sharks, were not the work of a great white at all. They think it was a bull shark in a creek in fresh water, so keep that animal in your mind. Now, let us put it in the river. Start at the bottom, on the Gulf Coast of Louisiana, at a lake nobody thinks of as dangerous at all. Lake Pontchartrain sits right against the city of New Orleans, a wide, shallow, brackish lake crossed by one of the longest bridges in the world, lined with parks and piers and boat launches. People have waded and swum and fished in Lake Pontchartrain for generations, and every single summer, as the water warms, the lake fills with bull sharks. This is not a rumor. It is one of the most carefully documented shark populations in the country. Researchers with the state wildlife department and local universities have spent years catching, tagging, and tracking them with a network of nearly 100 underwater receivers spread across the lake, listening for the tagged sharks as they move. What they have found is that Lake Pontchartrain is essentially a summer nursery. The sharks arrive as the water heats up, many of them young, some of them with the umbilical scars of newborns still visible, and they spend the warm months in the shallows, growing and feeding before the cooling water sends them back toward the Gulf. Charter captains on the lake have pulled 16 bull sharks from the water in a single trip. Some have topped 5 feet, and one experienced captain reported seeing one he put near 8 or 9 feet long. A shark he estimated at close to 300 pounds, in a lake beside a major American city. Here is the first quiet fact the story turns on. The last fatal shark attack in Lake Pontchartrain was over a century ago, and serious incidents there are genuinely rare. And that rarity has done something strange to the way people see the lake. It has not made them cautious. It has made them stop seeing the sharks at all. The animals are there, in enormous numbers, every summer, in the same water people swim in. It is just that the water keeps its secret so well that the sharks have become invisible, not because they are hidden, but because nothing bad usually happens, and nothing bad usually happening is the most convincing disguise there is. Now let us follow them up. From the coast, the rivers reach into the country like roots. The Mississippi and its great tangle of tributaries drain nearly half of the continental United States. A vast freshwater highway running north through the middle of the country. And a bull shark, carrying its own private machinery for surviving fresh water, can read that highway as an open door. Move a little inland from Pontchartrain into the Atchafalaya Basin, the enormous river swamp of southern Louisiana. In the summer of 2023, local fishermen there began reporting something that made the news. They were seeing more bull sharks further up into the basin than they were used to seeing. A rise in the population in water people think of as classic Louisiana swamp, cypress and Spanish moss, and slow brown current. Not a place you picture a shark from the sea. Keep going north, up the main channel of the Mississippi, and the records thin out, but they do not stop. In 1995, near Rush Island, Missouri, in the vicinity of St. Louis, another bull shark was found, this one caught in the intake grate of a power station, roughly 900 miles from the Gulf. 2 confirmed catches, 1937 and 1995, nearly 60 years apart, both far up into the American Midwest. And that gap of 60 years is exactly where the mystery lives. 2 researchers, a paleontologist and a librarian, went back through the old reports, the newspaper clippings, the fishermen's stories, everything they could find, to try to make sense of these deep inland sharks. And when they published what they found, the conclusion was not comforting. They argued that these were not 2 lonely accidents. They argued that bull sharks may travel far up the Mississippi more often than anyone realizes, that the confirmed catches are just the handful that happen to end up in a fisherman's net or a power station grate, and that the animal is likely making these journeys quietly, unseen, without leaving us a body to find. The verified sightings, in other words, may not be the exceptions. They may be the few times we happen to be looking. Sit with that for a second, because it inverts the whole thing. We have been treating the shark in the river as the rare event. The researchers are suggesting the rare event is us noticing. So why is nobody talking about it? If there are aggressive ocean-born sharks moving through the freshwater arteries of half the country, why is that not front-page news every summer? The honest answer has 3 parts, and none of them is a conspiracy. The first part is that attacks really are rare. A bull shark in a river is not hunting people. It is following food and warmth, chasing fish up into the shallows, and it has no particular interest in a swimmer. The number of freshwater shark attacks in the United States is very low. That is true, and it matters. And any honest version of this story has to say it plainly. But rare is not the same as absent, and this is the second part. The reason attacks stay rare is not that the sharks are not there. It is partly luck, and partly the fact that the water is so murky, the shark and the swimmer usually never meet. Most bull shark bites happen the same way, in low visibility water, when the shark mistakes a pale hand or a kicking foot for a fish, often near a fisherman with a bleeding catch on a stringer tied to his waist. The danger was never a shark that wants to eat you. The danger is a powerful, half-blind predator hunting by smell in cloudy water you cannot see into either. And the third part is the one that should hold your attention because it is changing. The bull shark is an animal of warm water. Cold is the wall that has always kept it penned into the southern rivers and the summer months. It cannot winter in a cold northern river, and that limit is the only reason its range has edges at all. But water temperatures are climbing. Summers are running longer and hotter, and the warm water window that lets a bull shark push inland is opening wider every year. The animal that has always been able to survive fresh water is now being handed more time and more warm miles of river to use that ability in. The southern problem is being quietly issued a passport to travel north. That is the thread that ties the whole story together, and it runs straight back to 2 fishermen in Illinois in 1937, pulling an impossible animal out of a trap. They thought they had caught a freak. What they had actually caught was a preview. Because here is what the last 90 years actually show, once you lay them end to end. The bull shark was never confined to the ocean. It has always been able to walk through the one door that keeps every other shark out. The rivers and lakes we think of as the safe, sharkless alternative to the coast are connected to that coast by a highway. This animal is uniquely built to travel, and the single thing that has kept it mostly out of sight, the cold that walls it into the warm south, is the one thing quietly weakening year over year. None of this is a reason to be afraid of your local lake. The odds that a bull shark is in the water where you swim, and that it would ever have any interest in you, remain very low, and it would be dishonest to tell you otherwise. This is not a warning to stay out of the water. It is something quieter than a warning. It is just the correction of a story we told ourselves. We grew up believing there was a clean line between the ocean, where the sharks live, and the fresh water, where they do not. We built our sense of safety on that line, and the line was never real. There is an animal that has been crossing it back and forth for longer than any of us have been alive, in the rivers that run through the middle of our own country. And the only thing that has really changed is that it is getting easier for it to do. So the next time you stand at the edge of a slow brown river hundreds of miles from any coast, and the surface is flat and calm, and gives nothing away. Remember the two men at Alton, and remember what the water is capable of carrying, and understand that the quiet of it was never proof that nothing was there. If this is the kind of thing that keeps your mind turning after dark, subscribe and stay with the channel. And tell me in the comments, what is the river closest to you?